Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking every single bronzer I tried in 2022 from worst to best. I tried a total of 16 bronzers this year and I have all kinds of formula in here. I have some cream, I have some liquid, I have some powder, I have some cream to powder, a little bit of everything, and I'm basically going to be ranking them on my personal experience with these products. I have a few categories. I have the ones I didn't like, the forgettable ones, the ones that were okay, and then my favorites. So yeah, I can't wait to dive in, show you every single bronzer I tried and rank it for you. So if you're excited for today's video, don't forget to please give it a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, please don't leave without subscribing. I'm uploading a video a day throughout the month of December, so definitely stay tuned for a lot of content, and let's just go ahead and get started. If you're tired of seeing me with this makeup on and this outfit, this is the third video I'm filming today, so I apologize. Anyways, I have no time to waste. Of course, every single one of these bronzers will be listed and linked down below in the description box, and let's just go ahead and start with bronzer number 16, which was the most disappointing bronzer I tried in 2022, the one that I liked least, and it is a high-end bronzer from Melt Cosmetics. This is the Melt Cosmetics Ultra Matte Powder Bronzer in the shade Santa Barbara. This right here is what it looks like, and the reason that this was a huge disappointment to me is because it is a bit on the muddy side. I feel like it doesn't blend the best and the colors are so awful. These are all Oompa Loompa shades. There's nothing even slightly light enough for my skin tone in this line. Everything looks very dark and very muddy, and it's not just about it being dark, because like if it suits darker complexions than mine and it just doesn't cater to me, like I'm okay with that, but everything is so orange that even if you have a darker complexion, this might just not be the most flattering color on you. So a bit of a disappointment, and it didn't even blend that well in my opinion. I just overall was disappointed with this one. I feel like I have the worst luck when it comes to Melt Cosmetics. I want to like their products so bad, and I have yet to find a Melt Cosmetics product that works for me. So, me. At number 15, I have one that I actually gave a decent review to. When I first tried this, I was like, it's nice, it's different, it was kind of unexpected. Nothing else like this in my collection, which makes it a bit special, but overall, now that I've had it for a few months and I don't reach for it, I understand why it's one of my least favorite bronzers I tried this year. I'm talking about this Mario bronzer here. This is the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Perfector in the shade Light Medium. As you can see, it's got a powder bronzer underneath, and then it's got a couple different highlight shades on top. When I used this one, I used it horizontally like this, and I just applied it exactly like that to my face so that I would have the bronzer underneath and the highlighters on top, and it saved a bit of time, but it wasn't the like most precise application. I couldn't buff it too much because then I would mix the products together. In fact, I did mix the products together when it came to applying it on my forehead. I feel like mixed together is too shiny of a bronzer for my personal taste, and when I use it with the products separately, you have to be very careful with it. You might not get the most ideal placement for it, and overall it was a good idea, but a bit too complicated of a product for me to reach for on a daily basis, so I have ended up not using it much, and so therefore this is at number 15. Those two I just mentioned are in the category of I don't really like them that much, and now we're entering into the category of the ones that I like didn't even remember I had anymore because they're so forgettable. Starting with this Sigma bronzer right here. This is the matte bronzer in medium, and here is what it looks like. It's a nice bronzer. It blended nicely. It wasn't too dark. It wasn't overly pigmented. Honestly, I don't really have a lot to complain about when it comes to this one, except it was just nothing special. It was very forgettable for me. I used it a couple times because it was new to my collection, and then I put it in the drawer and I never reached for it again, which tells me that it's not necessarily competing with the rest of the bronzers I'm talking about. It wasn't my favorite formula, which is not to say there's anything wrong with it, because there isn't. But like I said, it's just kind of one of these forgettable products. I review as much as I can because I want to be aware and I want to be knowledgeable about all of the products that come out on the market. And sometimes I try products that aren't necessarily the worst, but they also just don't become anything special. I tried it and it was good, but it wasn't memorable, and so it doesn't really make me too excited. Another one that I had pretty much the same exact experience with was this one right here from Haus Labs. This is the Haus Labs Power Sculpt Bronzer. Mine came broken and I just pressed it back in. This bronzer has a natural finish to it rather than a matte finish, and I did like that it had a natural finish rather than matte. It makes it just a little bit more different, which is why this one is number 13. I found this bronzer to build up nicely, to blend out nicely. It had a nice color to it, not too warm, not too cool toned, but it also just wasn't that special. There was something about the formula that just didn't necessarily fully click for me, and so this was kind of another one of those products that I just put back in my drawer and I never reached for it again, which is rare because I have a pretty big rotation of bronzers. I love my bronzers. It is one of my favorite categories of makeup. I use bronzer every time I wear makeup. It's one of the most makeup steps that I have to do every time I put any type of makeup on my face, and so I get a lot of use out of my bronzers on a regular basis, and this was just a bronzer that I never reached for again. So at number 12, I actually have a liquid bronzer that I tried recently, and that is this one right here from Milani. This one is nice and affordable. I have mine in the color 03 Toffee, and I've worn it now 2 to 3 times only because I've only had it for a bit over a week. And the first time was a bit atrocious. I applied too much too fast. It wasn't blending well because I let it dry a little bit too long. But I corrected my mistake since I realized that I had to work in sections and kind of blend as I go. And now that I have corrected those mistakes, I do like this one okay. I don't think it's a Hollywood Flawless Filter dupe by any means, because the Hollywood Flawless Filter is a product that you can let sit on your face for longer, that blends out a lot easier, and that looks a lot more natural. However, for the price, it being a liquid bronzer, it's not bad. You just have to kind of work in sections. The second and third time I tried this one, I kind of did my little dots on my cheek, blended it there until I was happy, then moved to my forehead, then my other cheek, etc. Working in sections and not applying too much of this one definitely made a world of a difference for me, and so I do like it a lot better now. So yeah, this is bronzer number 12. At number 11, I have a cream bronzer from Say Beauty. I also like this one okay. If you want a glowy bronzer for your face, this is probably the one to go to because it is so glowy. It looks like your cheeks are wet, which is not necessarily what I'm always looking for in a bronzer. I usually like my bronzers to be either natural or matte looking, which is why this one falls a little bit back on my lineup at number 11. Other than that though, there's nothing really wrong with this one. I just wish that it was a little bit less shiny than it is, because I feel like that would make it look a bit more natural. And this is someone who has very dry skin complaining about a glowy product right here. I don't know, when it comes to bronzers, I think that less shine is better for me. But this Say bronzer though isn't bad at all. It blends like a dream, it builds up like a dream, it has a really nice neutral tone to it. It is natural looking, just a bit too glowy for my personal taste when it comes to bronzers. At number 10, I have this one right here from Milk. This is the Bionic Bronzer from Milk, and I actually quite like this one. It's very easy to apply. It has a really beautiful color. It builds up nicely. It blends out nicely. It does also have a bit of an extra glowy finish to it, which is why I kind of have it right next to the Say one, because I feel very similarly about the two of them. The Milk one though, for some reason I like just a little better, which is why this one is my 10th bronzer in my collection. If you're trying to make a foundation that looks a little bit too light a bit more bronzy to match you better for the summertime, I would consider mixing in a product like this one because it's just going to make you naturally a bit more tan. So mixing it in with your foundation might be a really good way to use this one. Other than that, I do like to use it around the face. It is a very sheer product though, so even though it builds up, I would say this is a bronzer that you want to wear on the days where you want to look a bit more natural. At number 9, I have another Mario bronzer that came out this year. This is the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer in the shade light to medium. This is also a cream bronzer. This one's a bit more on the cool tone side, and it has a really beautiful natural finish to it, a bit less glowy than the ones I've been talking about up until right now. It has a beautiful neutral to cool tone to it. It builds up nicely. Nothing wrong with this one, honestly. I actually quite liked it. I gave it a good review when I first tried it. But like I said, there is just some stiff competition ahead of this one, which makes this one fall back a little more. But overall, it is quite a nice product, and it's also very easy to use. One thing that was interesting about this one is that it was not necessarily suggested as a bronzer on top of your foundation, but you can kind of wear it if you wanted to have a more makeup less look to your skin while still wearing makeup, of course, if you know what I mean. If you want to be deceitful, this one might be a good bronzer for you. All jokes aside, this is actually a nice bronzer with a nice formula. I did really enjoy it, but I have found myself reaching for the ones ahead of this one more than I reach for it. Moving on to number 8, I have this one right here. This is the LYS Beauty No Limits Contour Bronzing Stick. This product is pigmented with a capital P. So if you get it, which by the way, it's only $19, if you get it, you will never ever in your life run out because you need a very minimal amount of this one in order to get your full face of bronzing going. So I will say the amount of pigment that this contour stick has is definitely a positive, but to me at first it was a bit of a drawback because I had gotten the color Harmony, which was the one I thought would be best for me. But as you can see, if I try it again right here, is a bit too dark for me, a bit too yellow. So I had to go for the lighter shade than this one. And even though this lighter shade is better for me, it's still not as cool tone as I would want it to be. I don't know. I did really love the formula of these, which is why they are high up on my list of favorite bronzers that I tried this year, but I couldn't quite find the perfect shade for me. So in order for me to have the perfect shade, I have to combine them. I use mainly the lighter shade, which is called Motivate, all over my face, and once I blend that out, I'm like, I still need just a little more, so I go back with the shade Harmony and I add just a bit more to like specific places, and combining the two of them I can get the most perfect bronze ever. But because I have to combine the two shades, it's not higher up on my list, and it is my number 8. Other than that, though, super pigmented, extremely blendable, very natural looking, and only $19. At number 7, I have a powder bronzer from the drugstore. This one right here from L'Oreal, the L'Oreal Infallible bronzer in the color 300 Light Medium. This shade of bronzer from L'Oreal is perfect. It is a really nice neutral to cool tone shade, not too dark, and they have a whole bunch of different colors, of course, if you don't have my skin tone, but it builds up really nicely. As you saw right there, it blends like an absolute dream. I love that it is a matte finish bronzer. It basically performs like a high-end product, but it is a drugstore product with a really nice affordable price. Nothing to complain about. I really do love this one, and I pretty much love every single bronzer from 7 to number 1. You probably won't hear me say another negative thing about any of these. Like I said, the competition was stiff. Anyways, this is an amazing drugstore bronzer. It has an incredible formula. It is nice and affordable, and I do love it. I recommend it, but I like the ones that I'm about to mention just a little more. At number 6, we have the Charlotte Tilbury bronzers. These are the beautiful Skin Kissed Glow Bronzer, and I couldn't tell which shade I wanted online, so I bought two of them, the light and the medium. I ended up needing the light shade because the medium was just a little bit too yellow for me. So if you have a complexion similar to mine and you've been looking into the Charlotte bronzer, I would highly recommend you go for the lighter color rather than this one. This one, as you can see, I mean, it is clear as day now that I have it next to my face. It's just a bit too dark. It's just a bit too orange. But let's go ahead and talk about the formula of the shade that does match me. This is kind of a cream to powder formula. You do get a ton of product in this Charlotte bronzer, and it is luxuriously packaged. One thing that is a huge positive about this one is that it has the advantages of a cream bronzer, which is that they're hydrating, they're not going to make you look too dry or too matte. It has a beautiful finish to it, but it also has the advantages of a powder bronzer, which is that you can build it up easily, blend it out easily, and it applies so naturally that you're not going to do too much at once and have to figure out how to blend it down. This is very beginner friendly. If you have only ever used powder bronzers and you want to kind of like try a cream one for the first time, this is the one that I would suggest for that, because it basically performs like a powder product while it not being a powder product, you know? Anyways, I love this one and I do highly recommend it. This is the one that I'm ranking at number 6. And so let's move on to my top 5 favorite bronzers that I tried in 2022. At number 5, I have a bronzer from the drugstore, this one right here from NYX Cosmetics. This is the Wonder Stick, and it's a bronzer and highlighter, but I'm specifically putting it in this video because of the bronzer stick. I'll tell you what is wonderful about this one. This basically performs like a high-end product, but it is a NYX Cosmetics product that you can find for such a stunning, affordable price. It is incredible. This is a product that, as you can see, glides easily. It is very creamy and it blends like an absolute dream. Plus, it has the most stunning, natural looking shade to it that is so freaking flattering on the skin. I absolutely love this product from NYX. I highly, highly recommend it. And it's definitely deserving of being in my top 5 bronzers that I tried in 2022. We are going from drugstore to very bougie. At number 4, I have the Sisley bronzer. This here is the Photo Blush Twist in the shade 5 Contour from Sisley. I tried this one very recently and it stole the show for me. It is such an easy to blend product. This is one of those cream bronzers that like you can blend out so easily with your finger and it basically blends into nothing. You can see how easy that was to blend right there. It blends out with ease. You can build it up for a little bit more intensity. This one is a pretty penny, but when I tell you it has the greatest performance to it. The color is also very flattering. It's not too cool toned of a shade, so don't expect a lot of like sculpting from it, but you are going to look so nicely bronzed with this product. Unfortunately, I don't think they have a lot of like darker bronzer shades in this line now that I think about it. So I think you kind of would have to be from medium to fair in order to truly love this one. But this one honestly surprised me. I wasn't expecting to like this product as much as I did. It is very luxurious in performance because you put it on and you can blend it out by looking at it. Like it just blends on its own. A fantastic product from Sisley, and I hadn't ever tried anything from their line up until recently, so it definitely surprised me. Time to talk about my top 3 bronzers, and at number 3 I have this one here from Rare Beauty. This one technically came out December of last year, but it was like after the holidays, I think, so it counts as 2022 for me because I couldn't put it in any roundup videos last year. Basically, if it comes out December last year, it counts as 2022 for me. Anyways, this one right here is the Rare Beauty bronzer in the shade Happy Soul. This is not a sculpting product. This is truly just a bronzing product. But it is just the easiest bronzer to use ever. Very similar to the Sisley one we just talked about, but this one has a much lesser price point. And the other difference between the two is that this one has more of a matte finish versus the Sicily having a bit more of a shiny finish to it. As you can see, it's not a cool tone contouring product. It just gives you this really nice bronze to your face. Definitely my favorite thing about this one and the Sicily one is that they're just such easy to apply products. You can put these on your face after you put foundation on, or you can powder your face and then add them on top. And either way, no matter how they fall on your face, they are going to blend out amazingly, have great pigmentation, and look fantastic. So I highly recommend this one. The shade Happy Soul is the one that works best for me. And it was such an amazing surprise when this one came out last year because I wasn't expecting much of it, and it became one of my most used bronzers of 2022. At number 2, I have another cream product in a stick from the brand Cosmetics. That is this right over here. It performs so similar to the Rare Beauty one, and it has a very similar finish to it, but I just like the color of this one better because this one is a bronzer, but it also sculpts my face a little bit, and I could use the sculpting, okay? So this is the So Soft cream stick, I guess, from Cosmetics in the shade Terra. This is what it looks like right here. As you can see by how stained this one is, I have used it a lot. So let me go ahead and swatch it for you right here. See, it has a bit of a cool tone to it that still makes your face look a bit on the bronzy side. I have used the crap out of this contour stick this year, and I just love how natural and flawless and sculpted my face looks every time I use it. It just has the perfect tone for me to feel like I have a little color. I don't look pale. I look a bit on the bronzy side, but my face is also sculpted. Like, it is a magical product. It does everything in one. I have zero complaints about it. It's nice and affordable, and it has a very luxurious formula. Cosmetics is a brand that is new to me because I tried it at the beginning of this year, and every single product I have tried from them, even though it is a high-end product with high-end pricing, feels like luxury. Of course, that mainly applies to the formulas. I feel like all of their formulas are very luxurious, and this is no exception. I have used this product so much. This is all I have left of it, and I trust that this is a product that I will continue to use and hopefully finish. I feel like I'll be very happy if I finish one of these because it just means that I love it that much, you know? So not enough good things I can say about this one. Highly recommended. Get yourself one if you're in the market for a cream contouring / bronzing product. It is amazing. And 1,000 thanks to the person that said I should get this when I was asking about what products to get from Cosmetics at the beginning of the year. I remember that someone said you need to try their contour stick in shade Terra, and I bought it and I'm obsessed. Last but not least, my number 1 favorite bronzer I tried this year is a powder bronzer. It is the bronzer that I'm wearing today, and as you can see, it gives me color while looking extremely natural on my face. It's not too sculpting, but it is a little sculpting, and it's not too bronzy, but it is a bit bronzy, and it just looks so natural, right? Anyways, it is also from Cosmetics. I'm a little obsessed with the brand at the moment, in particular their complexion products. So this is the Cosmetics Corselet Sculpting Powder Bronzer in the shade Slip. This came out, I think, probably around the summertime, which was like, I don't know, 3 to 4 months ago. And mine, as you can see, has a hole in it already because I cannot stop using it. Ever since I got this bronzer, I have reached for this bronzer over every single other bronzer in my collection because it is just easy. I know that I'm going to like the look. I know that it's going to build up softly, so I'm not going to get too much product and then like have to figure out how to blend it out. I hate when that happens. So it easily builds up. I can be a bit heavy-handed with it if I want to, and it still looks natural. It is the perfect shade for me where it's not too bronzy, not too sculpting. It has this perfect neutral undertone to it that is just so flattering on my skin. It has a fantastic, luxurious formula. It blends out like a dream. Literally not only my #1 bronzer that I tried in 2022, but currently I'm pretty sure this is my favorite bronzer in my collection, period. I love it that much. It is fantastic. So highly recommended is an understatement. You need this. Okay, so that is it. If you're in the hunt for a new bronzer, this is how I feel about all of the ones I tried in 2022. Highly recommend my top 5/6. All of those are awesome for different reasons. But in particular, I highly recommend both of the Cosmetics products because they are amazing. If you guys like this video, don't forget to please give it a thumbs up before you leave. And of course, this wasn't sponsored. It was just a coincidence that I have been extra excited about Cosmetics products lately and that they make just such amazing bronzer formula. Anyways, I love you guys so much. If you like this video, don't forget to please give it a thumbs up before you leave. If you're new to my channel, please don't leave without subscribing. I'm uploading videos every day during the month of December, so I have a lot of content coming. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching today's video, and I hope to see you back in the next one. Bye.